Hello, my friends and followers, and welcome back to another video. Today, we will be talking about time management, how to properly manage your time, and why it is never ever good to procrastinate. Without further ado, let's get started. So what is time management, first of all? Well, by definition, it is the process of managing the time that you spend on your activities in the most effective way. And this is, of course, not only to achieve the most effective result, but to also increase efficiency on your activities and keeping you productive. And effective time management, of course, would involve you balancing your daily activities in an effective manner. And of course, there are many tools that we all can use to balance our activities, the duration that we spend on those activities, using a variety of different ways. So here's one of the models that depict how to effectively manage your time. So first off, the most important and most urgent stuff, they have the highest priority, which means that you need to manage those first, get those things completed. As it states right here, manage short-term crises and problems. Number two, you need to focus on the long-term goals, the strategic goals that you set yourself. And that's important but not urgent. So if there are things that are important but they're not urgent, then you need to decide on a time to do those tasks. And of course, one example would be spending your time with your family. And then number three, any of those distractions or interruptions to your tasks, your important and urgent tasks, you need to avoid them as much as you possibly can. In other words, delegate those urgent but not important tasks until you have completed the others, which are important and they need to be completed. As in, there is a set deadline that you need to complete your tasks. And finally, limit the activities that are going to waste your time. And these activities are, of course, not important and not urgent and are not related in any way to what you are going to do. And of course, if you want to do all of these activities that are not important and not urgent, it is better to do them after all of your other tasks, which are urgent and of course important, are completed. So for example, you have completed your homework and you find that you have a few hours of free time. Well then, that's your that time can be spent on these not important and not urgent tasks. So to sum this up, first, get whatever needs to be done within the which needs to be done first. Get them done, and then work on your other important tasks, which perhaps do not have any sort of deadline. Then work on your urgent but not important tasks. And then only after all of these three steps are completed can you do these other tasks which are not important and not urgent, but you just have a desire to do it. And of course, if you want to know what type of tools that you can use to better manage your time, well, I have quite a few of these on my mind right now. So first is, of course, a calendar. A calendar that you can use to set your time to do all of your different activities. And of course, there are plenty of them out there that you can get. And of course, those calendars can be both on paper and online. You just have to figure out which one works the best for yourself. And the other ones, I don't really recall. But if you do have some other suggestions, or you have some different methods on how to manage your time, well then, post them in the description box below. That would be greatly appreciated. And speaking of what I had just mentioned about time management, there's this concept of Fomo versus Joma. So Fomo stands for fear of missing out. So you're afraid of missing out on certain activities. And then Joma, that's the joy of missing out, which basically states that you are glad or delighted that you didn't attend this particular activity, perhaps because it doesn't really suit your goal. And of course, the idea that I'm trying to get at here is that you cannot do everything that is around there in the world, regardless of whether or not they suit your needs or suit your goals or suit your dreams that you want to pursue, without getting stressed. And speaking of stress, there's two types. There's good stress and there's bad stress. So the good stress is just the stress from you working towards your goal. And of course, like reaching your goals is never easy. There's lots of different hurdles that you need to overcome. Me personally, I've had these in my life. I've had to face these obstacles. And there's like so much that, boy, I can't really name any of them. But you get the idea. You will definitely fall down, and then you need to learn how to get up again. Basically, you will make mistakes in your life. And of course, you need to learn from them. And then the second one, bad stress. That's basically overwork, which means that you're just doing so much at once that you feel like you're never going to complete all of your tasks. And of course, that's going to have negative impacts on both your physical and your mental health. For example, you can get like really tired, or maybe just you feel that your goal is out of reach, that you may get upset. And that is never, ever good. So of course, if you miss out or if you don't attend anything that does not suit your dreams, your goals, or your needs, then of course, you need to enjoy it, right? You need to be grateful that there is minimal or no undue or unnecessary pressure on you. Let's talk about procrastination. Well, by definition, procrastination is just where you delay or postpone your tasks until much later. And of course, procrastinating on like an urgent and important task is never ever good. Why? Well, it's because not only are you wasting your time, but of course it's also going to increase the likelihood of you not being able to get your tasks done within the allotted time frame, and or if it gets done, it's done very poorly. And of course, the rush to get things done affects your physical and mental health as well. And if you want to know how, then I got a video that we're going to watch.
So in college, I was a government major, which means I had to write a lot of papers. Now, when a normal student writes a paper, they might spread the work out a little like this. So, you get started maybe a little slowly, but you get enough done in the first week that with some heavier days later on, everything gets done and things stay civil. And I would want to do that like that. That would be the plan. I would have it all ready to go, but then actually the paper would come along, and then I would kind of do this. And that would happen every single paper. But then came my 90-page senior thesis, a paper you're supposed to spend a year on. I knew for a paper like that, my normal workflow was not an option. It was way too big a project. So I planned things out, and I decided it kind of had to go something like this. This is how the year would go. So I'd start off light, and I'd bump it up in the middle months. And then at the end, I would kick it up into high gear, just like a little staircase. How hard could it be to just walk up the stairs? No big deal, right? But then, funniest thing happened. Those first few months, they came and went, and I couldn't quite do stuff. So we had an awesome new revised plan. But then those middle months actually went by, and I didn't really write words. And so we were here. And then 2 months turned into 1 month, which turned into 2 weeks. And one day I woke up with 3 days until the deadline, still not having written a word. And so I did the only thing I could. I wrote 90 pages over 72 hours, pulling not one but 2 all-nighters. Humans are not supposed to pull 2 all-nighters. Sprinted across campus, dove in slow motion, and got it in just at the deadline. I thought that was the end of everything. But a week later, I get a call. And it's the school. And they say, "Is this Tim Urban?" And I say, "Yeah." And they say, "We need to talk about your thesis." And I say, "Okay." And they say, "It's the best one we've ever seen." That did not happen. It was a very, very bad thesis.
So guys, as you may have heard from the video, that speaker, Tim Urban, he pulled 2 all-nighters just to finish up his paper that he needed to complete. Because like he had been given quite a period quite a reasonable period of time to work on his paper, do some editing, revising, and of course handing them in a methodical manner. But of course he didn't follow that methodical process. And this is, of course, not a good sort of working ethic. And I'm not saying this to judge. I'm just letting that video serve as a teaching point to you guys. Well, what's the danger? Or what's bad about pulling all-nighters, you may ask? Well, the problem is that not only are you going to feel very, very, very tired and fatigued to the point where you need to drink at least a dozen or so cups of coffee just to stay up. But that's also going to have a negative effect on your physical and mental health as well. So guys, do not pull any sort of all-nighter to complete your work. If you have the time to do your work from the point that it is assigned, make a reasonable use of that time. And of course, this will depend on your own situation. But you get the idea. Guys, time is finite. Time just goes along in a steady pace, regardless of what you are doing. And of course, time will not wait for you to catch up. And of course, this is the reason why you need to make effective use of the time that you have to complete whatever tasks are important and, of course, urgent. Now, this will, of course, depend on your situation, your dreams, your goals, and of course, it'll definitely be up to you as a person to manage your time. But do not, never, ever, ever try all of these sort of bad habits to complete your work, such as procrastinating. First, of course, like doing the stuff that's not important or urgent first for a long period of time, and of course realizing that, oh my goodness, deadline's coming up, I need to do this quickly, and you just like stay up all night and then finish your work. No, do not do that, because that's going to negatively impact yourself and your physical and mental well-being. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you have learned something about time management. and of course how to manage your time and why it's never good to leave things till the last minute. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to watch more, feel free to like the video, subscribe to my channel,